everyone. My premiere is diligently rendering something for you. And in the meantime, I have to get something off my chest. Okay. I've talked about Kew a lot in the past. And I don't know what to think of Kew. To be totally honest with you, I think it's amazing that this whole movement has gotten us to get off our butts and do a lot of research. Myself, I'm talking about myself mostly. And I think it's really amazing that it's brought some calm and some trust and some, just seeing how things go. I think there's a lot of benefits to Kew. However, I'm not going to deny there's not some troubling elements of Kew, and I'm going to get into them because in the spirit of honesty, that's kind of what I want to do. That's really all I ever want to do. So one of the first things that I just want to talk about before I get into the rabbit hole with you all is the actual shape of the Kew. So let's just look at this fiery one here. As you all know, for those of you who listen to my channel with regularity, I do also listen to Thomas Williams, and I also watch a lot of Yellow Rose for Texas videos. And there seems to be, when we're looking at the biggest version of the picture, the most macroscopic vision of our existence, apparently we live in a loop. We're in a time loop. We're in a loop. And what I like about the Kew thing, it has so many nice things that fit, but it also has troubling things that fit, is the loop with, an escape route. So instead of it being the zero, which is very interesting because apparently zero wasn't invented immediately numerically. It was a philosophical consideration after mathematics had sort of taken its hold, which I mean, this is all, of course, according to the accepted historical narrative. So it's very interesting. I mean, was that the time when the loop was placed on us? Was there no zero before the loop? So who knows? Anyway, all very big esoteric questions. But it is one of the things that I really like about the shape of the Kew, is it is literally the passageway out of the loop. However, if you look at this passageway out of the loop, it ends quite abruptly. And there is something called cosmic fascism. And it's something that I have actually not been able to find a term for on the internet recently. I feel like it's been scrubbed. And the idea behind cosmic fascism is that we become so entranced in our liberation that we actually don't check our footnotes, and we don't cross our T's, and we don't dot our I's, and we don't really actually participate fully enough to see our liberation through, which is something that Thomas Williams keeps talking about. He's kind of like, get off your duffs, people. This is not, it's not been won yet, we're looking good, but we're far from over. And the Q movement is kind of like, sit down, relax, and watch the show and have some popcorn. So, I remember reading about cosmic fascism quite a while ago, and it is something that does, it's something that sits in the back of my mind at all times. Anyway, let's have some fun with some etymology. And we're going to start with our first Q word, which is the word Q. So a Q, of course, is, okay, so let's have a look, actually. We're going to look at all the definitions of Q. The first one I was thinking, of course, was a cue in a play. So you have been cued to come on stage. But here we also have a long tapered stick with a leather tip used to strike the cue ball in billiards and pool. There is a cue ball as well, and the cue ball is the black ball. Oh, sorry, it's the white ball. Oh my goodness, it's the white hat, not the 8-ball. It's the white hat. I'm sorry. Obviously, I don't play pool enough. And yes, here we go. So Q number 2 is a signal such as a word or an action used to prompt another event in a performance. Enjoy the show, people. The performance. So is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? I don't know. We also talk about cues in psychology. It's something that, as when I was therapist, I was doing that. Talking about cues and behavior, cueing people's behavior. It's very similar to triggering. And this is very interesting here. Archaic has one's assigned role or function. One, I like that. And a mood or disposition. Okay, so then, yeah, Q. Anything spoken or done that serves as a signal to an actor or musician to follow with specific lines or action. And I've talked a little bit about this guy, Area 17. Can't remember the rest of his channel's name. But anyway, he's been talking about bad actors and the actors, and there's a lot of talk about show and popcorn and whatever. So again, just want to call attention to that. It's communications or information, to give information or a reminder, to cue someone. So cueing us, to cue us. So is this all about triggering us, cueing us? Who knows? I have no idea. I'm not really trying to upset the apple cart in all of this, but it's on my mind, and I'm here to tell you what I'm thinking. Okay? So yeah, there's a lot of interesting issues with that. Every time I thought about doing this video all day today, and every time I thought about it, I think of that Ting Ting songs. That's not my name, you know. I'm the last one picked against the wall, or whatever the lyric is, and you know, it's all about sort of feeling kind of unpopular, and that's kind of how I'm feeling right now. I have never been good at being popular because I'm too driven, to be honest, and I'm constantly pissing people off, and I'm probably losing subscribers. Like, I wouldn't have any doubt that my subscription count has been as it was without YouTube shadow banning me, because I do upset people a lot with my need to talk about things. And the Kew Forest School. So this has all kinds of issues around it, and I don't know if you guys know about the Kew Forest School, but we're about to find out about it right now. So it has been around since 1918, and a lot of the stuff from back then should raise eyebrows. The Kew School is like kind of an elitist school. Interestingly enough, Trump went to this school. And, you know, for those of you who know about Rudolf Steiner and Forest schools and stuff, they are both, you know, there's an interesting sort of dichotomy with these schools. So that on the one hand, you know, they're teaching kids about nature and all this kind of stuff, the seasons, the rhythm, sort of natural rhythms and that kind of thing. And they get into storytelling, and they're really heavily into mythology, and they don't push reading and academics to kids until they're sort of well over their playing years. So the philosophy is that if your child doesn't start reading before 8, that's fine. But they do practice letters. They do, you know, there's interesting Steiner educated. It's somewhat interesting, and most of you would have probably heard about the Waldorf schools and whatnot. Anyway, the flip side of that, of course, is that there's quite a lot of alarming issues to begin with. Number one of the things that they promote is autonomy, which is fine, but they promote autonomy at a very young age, autonomy from the family. However, at the same time, they also promote what they call bonding between the teacher and the children. And they encourage the instructors. They're not teachers, by the way. They are not teachers. They are instructors, and they encourage them to give public displays of affection, physical affection, to the children, all the while promoting autonomy from the family and getting kids really into the rhythms of nature. And they do circle time and storytelling and acting out and costume making and blah blah blah. And if you're thinking Bohemian Grove, that's kind of what I'm trying to get at a little bit here. So they're kind of, yeah, worrisome. So there you go. So Kew Forest schools, and I highly recommend you have a look. Well, you know what, we're going to do this together, but have a look at this website. Anyway. So here we go. So the Kew Forest School was founded by Louis de Marriott, and I would wonder if he's involved somehow in the Marriott Hotel. Their object was expressed in one of their earliest brochures was to establish a country day school which had modern equipment, high standards of scholarship and discipline, and sincere spirit of service. So that already feels very troubling, especially after I've just kind of given you that that opener there. Kew Forest opened its doors on September 25th, 1918 to 50 pupils, all children of neighborhood residents. By 1923, the enrollment was 172, and in 2007, they had over 300 students from Forest Hills and 50 other communities in Queens, as well as 8 areas of Long Island, Brooklyn, and Manhattan. So, yeah. Now, I'm not the first person to note that there is a Trump connection here, so do have a look. I'm not really going to get super big down the rabbit hole with this right now. If any of you notice anything that I am not picking up on, put it in the comment section, because I'm very interested to know about whatever. Whatever comes up in this, I think, would be valuable. So, there is also Kew in London. So, Kew in London is the district of London Borough of Richmond upon Thames. Okay, so let's have a look at that in the map. Okay, not seeing it. That just looks like London to me. So let's get out of here. Kew Gardens is a very wealthy neighborhood, and I'm trying to see where it is in relation to... Kew is the location of the Royal Botanical Gardens, Kew Gardens. That's downtown. Okay, so let's hang on one second. No, that's not Hyde Park. Hang on a second. Kew Gardens map. Let's have a quick look, because I want to see where it is in relation to the Temple Bar. Because the Temple Bar is the cloistered, it's the free state, it's the free country, like the Vatican and DC within London. Sorry, my computer's super slow. Hang on a second. Let's see if I can... Alright, I'm sorry, yeah, the computer's just super slow today. Alright, I'm gonna come back to this page, see if it loads. Okay. Oh, here we go. There we go. Kew Gardens, Brentford, Griffin Park, Fulham Cemetery. Let's see. Temple Bar. I don't think they're that close, to be honest with you. Okay, I'm still going to move on, because it's going to just... My computer is very slow. We'll get back there. But, sorry, to say that it has a connection to London is very interesting. Oh, there we go. Okay, there's Kew in there. Oh, they didn't pop it on there, on that part. You can just see it right there. Temple Bar would be right in here, so it's not that close. But anyway, there are royal associations. There we go. Royal associations with Kew, the Tudors and the Stuarts. Charles Somerset was granted lands at Kew in 1517. When he died in 1526, he left his Kew estates to his third wife, Eleanor, and to the remainder to his son, George. There's a lot of Georges, do you not think? Then he sold the house for £200 to Thomas Cromwell, who sold it to Charles Brandon, the first Duke of Suffolk. And Brandon had probably already inhabited Kew during the life of his wife, Mary Tudor, the daughter of Henry VII and widow of the French king Louis XII. According to Leyland's Signia Cantio, Swan's Song, she stayed in Kew, which he refers to as Chiva, for a time after her return to England. So it was also the Hanoverians. Oops, I'm sorry, guys. Queen Anne, Georgian expansion by Thomas Gainsborough and Johann Zoffany. Artists associated with Kew, Franz Bauer. Walter Deverell, he was he was associated with the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood. Oh, geez. Okay, anything with L in it, Raphael, Michael, all that, that's all part of the Anunnaki sort of group, what have you. And so, yeah, Arthur Hughes, I don't know, Joshua Kirby, St. Peter Lely, Charles Moseley, Marianne North, Camille Pissarro, historical figures. So this is like a pretty big deal, this place. William Ayton, David Blomfield, Richard Cook, Stephen Duck, Prince Frisco of the Netherlands, Liberal Joe Grimmond, Sir William Hooker, Alfred Luff, Phil Lynott, Andrew Miller, Samuel Molyneux, interesting, Desmond Morton, Harold Pinter, Sir Hugh Portman, Sir John Puckering, Anthony Saxton, John Stewart, Patrick Troughton, and George Visalia. Living people. So all of those people apparently lived there while they were dead. No, I'm kidding. Okay. So, still, who is still living in Kew? Susan Virtue. I'll start from the bottom just for kicks. Susan Virtue and Stephen Moffat. Don't know who they are. Jenny Tong, Baroness Tong, Paul Ormerod, Serge Laurier, Gabby, Logan, Milton Jones, Donald Install, Simon Fowler, David Jury, Justin Lee Collins, Ray Brooks, Nick Baird, Mick Avery, and Jeffrey Archer. So I don't know. Really, I don't know. I haven't been to England with regularity for a long time, so I'm not entirely sure who any of those people are. So if you have any insight on that, please share. Now, there's also the word queue, as in a line of people waiting. A line of people waiting. To wait in a queue. Okay, I'm done. Then, there's Q from Star Trek. Now, I didn't really watch Star Trek, but my husband did. And he was talking about Q in a philosophical, theoretical way, one day when we were talking about this. So because I just talked about, Q, that's kind of interesting, whatever, right? Okay. I just have to read this from here because I don't know anything about Q outside of this, and my husband's not here. So, Q is a fictional character as well as the name of a race in Star Trek, appearing in The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager series, as well as in related media. Most familiar, Q is portrayed by John Delancey, this dude right here. He is an extra-dimensional being of unknown origin who possesses immeasurable power over normal human notions of time, space, the laws of physics, and reality itself, being capable of altering it to his whim. Despite his vast knowledge and experience spanning untold eons and much to the exasperation of the objects of his obsession, he is not above practical jokes for his own personal amusement, for a Machiavellian and manipulative purpose, or to prove a point. He is said to be almost omnipotent and is continuously evasive regarding his true motivations. Beep, 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 beep. So this is where I was like, what? So the name Q applies to the names of the individuals portrayed. All male and all female characters refer to each other as Q. It is also applied to the name of their race and to the Q continuum itself, which is an alternate dimension accessible only to the Q and their invited guests. Is that us? I don't know. The true nature of this realm is said to be beyond the comprehension of lesser beings such as humans, and therefore it is shown to humans in only ways that they can understand. Beginning with the pilot episode Encounter at Farpoint of The Next Generation, Q became a recurring character with pronounced comedic and dramatic chemistry with Jean-Luc Picard. He serves as a major antagonist throughout The Next Generation, playing a pivotal role in both the first and final episodes. He is initially presented as a cosmic force judging humanity to see if it is becoming a threat to the universe. But as the series progresses, his role morphs into war of a teacher to Picard and the human race generally, albeit often and seemingly destructive and disruptive ways, subject to his own amusement. At other times, notably during Deja Q and Voyager, Q appears to the crew seeking assistance. And apparently Gene Roddenberry, who apparently was super big into Intel, chose the letter Q in honor of his friend Janet Quarton. I have no idea who that is. Now, when I asked him, well, is Q good or bad? He's like, well, neither. It's it's hard to tell if there's a malevolent or benevolent undercurrent to Kew. So unbelievable. Like, oh my gosh. Now, the other thing that's really important to note is that John Delancey also plays other television roles. Hang on, where is he? Oh, come on. Oh, forget it. Well, he plays Discord. He is the voice of Discord from My Little Pony. Okay? So, I don't know if you guys know about My Little Pony, but I sure as heck do, because my kids love My Little Pony. It's sarcastic and hilarious, and they think it's just about the best ever. So this is Discord, and Discord is, I'm going to have to go back this way. Oh, come on. No, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this. Blam. There we go. There's Discord. Discord is a lot like Kew on My Little Pony. And Discord, as you can well see, is a chimera. And he starts out as a bad guy. And he's basically trying to spread discord, because the whole purpose of My Little Pony is to spread friendship everywhere. And what's really interesting about Discord is that eventually by, like, I don't know, like the 3rd or 4th season, he actually becomes sort of part of the pony crew. However, he's also kind of still playing up at his own games and still up to no good sometimes, and sort of a rapscallion kind of a character. But anyway, I just think it's utterly fascinating. Now, the other connection to this is about bronies. Now, I don't know if you know what a brony is, but a brony is a male fan of My Little Pony. And guess where bronies started out? Well, they started out on 4chan or 8chan. I don't remember which chan it was, because I never really, I don't understand technology at all, as something that you might know about me because of all the videos of mine that you watch constantly because you love my stuff so much. But anyway, so yeah, it's either 4 or 8chan, I don't know, but it was on one of the chans. So I just kind of think it's all interesting that, you know, Q is on the chans and Q is played by the Discord character, which is a brony thing. So it's all, you know, Ouroboros, right? Continuing on. So recently, we've had a lot of talk just recently. Sorry. More Q. James Bond. James Bond has a character called Q as well. And Q is, in the James Bond series, is a job title rather than a name. And he is the head of the Q branch, or the Q division. Q also stands for Queen, Question, Quantum, Quark. So many different things. I mean, I could go on another thing to note. What does this look like right here in the search bar? Right here or right up here, right? It's another Q. Am I right? Of course I'm right. Now, just recently, we've been hearing a whole lot about someone called Juan O'Savin. He's been popping up on Able Danger and connecting Able Danger to different people. And one of the things that came up, which is really interesting, so first of all, apparently there are no comms outside of Q. A lot of people have said that there are 2 Qs, multiple Qs, and it's been noted, and a lot of people who still follow Q and kind of get excited about Q have noted that things have changed. Things have been very, very different. So here's a thing to consider. So everyone's watching Able Danger and hearing about Juan O'Savin, and everyone's getting really excited about JFK. We're talking about putting masks on, getting masks, and the JFK masks, and there's JFK stuff on TV and now the print media and stuff. And all I want to say is this, okay? So there's going to be psyops on both sides, and I don't really know what to make of all of this stuff. It's pretty easy to get all, swept up with it, because I did. But at the same time, when I tend to get swept up by stuff, I tend to sort of back off a little bit too. And so this is something that I've been kind of wondering about. They're really pushing it on the media. They're really pushing, like, they're like, get out there, put on your masks, da da da. Wouldn't it be awesome when all the masks come off? And I don't know, you know, I just don't know. I don't know what to think of it. But I will tell you this. There's been a couple of people putting big question marks around Able Danger lately and 107, because one thing I have to say about this particular person, they haven't appeared anywhere else. They're just exclusively talking to Able Danger, but they're apparently also talking to Linda Paris of McAllister TV. Now, she used to work at CNN apparently, and she's saying, well, she's an ex-CNN person and this, that, and the other. Well, they talk about there being no such thing as ex-CIA, and I wonder if there's no such thing as ex-CNN. I'm wondering also if the whole CNN thing is completely, I don't know, I have no idea. This is all questions. I have no answers for any of this. But I will say something about these guys. Now, the Next News Network just recently, I'm just going to have to skip over this because it's going to do a big loud thing. They just recently did, no, it's gonna be way down here now, because it's gotta be, oh god, they have so many videos. Oh geez Louise. Okay, that wasn't it. It was one that I watched, so I'm just looking for the little red taskbar here, and it's got to be a couple weeks ago now. Darn it. Okay, no, that one's fully red, fully yellow. Yeah, it's really hard to tell sometimes when you've seen them. Oh, here we go. Leftists, okay, so this was 1 week ago. They did this. Leftists are furious after Ruth Bader Ginsburg praises fellow Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. This was something they reported on a week ago, and they said that this just happened. That was over a year ago. That was well over a year ago, and they reported it to having just happened a week ago. And if you watch this video, the guy who does the reading, like he reads the news, and he's just so outraged, and he's like, leftists are furious! Well, no, they're not, because it happened a year ago. They're not furious about this at all. Maybe they were a year ago, but it's just, anyway, so fake news is all I have to say. Then the thing that kind of concerns me here is that this dude suddenly started doing reporting for these guys. So now I'm like, do I throw out the baby with the bathwater? Like, I don't know. Then this guy reached out to her, and she apparently has a close relationship with this guy. Now, last thing to say of all of this, the JFK, the Kennedy, it's really important that I share this with you. There are 13 bloodlines that rule this planet. And these are them. The Astor bloodline, the Bundy bloodline, the Collins bloodline, the DuPont bloodline, the Freeman bloodline, the Kennedy bloodline, the Lee bloodline, the Onassis bloodline, the Reynolds bloodline, the Rockefeller bloodline, the Rothschild bloodline, the Russell bloodline, the Van Dyn bloodline. If it is JFK Jr., is he fighting for the people, or is he fighting for the crown that he believes belongs to his bloodline? I don't know. I don't know the answers for any of this, but I'm presenting you the truth that I found, and this is what I found. So, I don't know. Good night.